what's up you guys, this is Rob from Plays, and today on Dress to Kill, we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the Ember Magesty skin, as well as the Ember Ignition skin. Now, before we get started, I did want to put up a little bit of a disclaimer, just to kind of clear the air so that people will stop. Yes, I know about the Oberon Prime image leaks, I know all of it, don't even worry about it. Like, I knew about it 2 days ago, I was just like, meh, like, do I really need to comment on that now if I'm going to end up fashion framing him later anyway? So, don't worry. It's a thing. We'll look at it after I've touched it and tweaked it and made it look all pretty. But I don't know. Do you guys want that kind of? Do you want me to make that kind of content and judge something, you know, before it's actually in my hands and gotten a chance to play around with it? I don't. I think it's personally a waste of my time. But anyway, let's jump into this skin and take a quick look because I have done some pretty major renovations. Now, as you can see, I tapped into that energy effect that I really love from the Pro Citizen Cheshire baby that we've made, and the more that I looked at it, I was like, yeah. Initially I thought it was kind of like Oberon-ish. However, if you look a little bit closer, it almost looks like they made a dragon. And I kind of really wanted to encapsulate that in this first look. So a lot of the tones that you see are kind of like burnt oranges and like some reds in there, like some washed out reds, just to kind of drive the whole fire theme home. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm super fond of it. Usually I don't like to go for like just a straight on, hey look, I made a thing that's almost literal, but I think that this look looks kind of fantastic. Maybe for you guys out there who want like a little fashion frame challenge, if you guys want to actually go ahead and see if you can make a literal like Ember dragon, like a green scale dragon that like that breathes fire. I think green and red is a little garish together, but hey, if you can make it work, you can make it work. And just as a heads up, this is the color that I pretty much always use for fire stuff. Unless it's Ninja, he's got his built in there too, and he's got like a teal over, like it's complicated with his, because he's got two tones in his. But this is the, I believe this is the Ember line, and this is the one that should have just a straight up fire color built into it. So if you're ever looking for just a straight up fire color, that's her default Ember fire color, and that's what I tend to go for. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next look. Now this was a weird inspiration. Alright, I actually looked this up, and I really wanted to do something a little bit funner when it came to her energy color, because we know that fire burns in a lot of different colors, right? So there's a lot of different, you know, when you use different like metals and all that kind of shit, they'll burn differently. So what I actually wanted to look for is kind of like the literal translation of a pink flame, because there are pink flames out there, and apparently it burns from lithium. So I actually looked at the images of lithium, and some of it's mainly gray, but it does have like a little bit of a coppery tinge to it when it oxidizes a little bit, so I kind of wanted to mix that in just slightly, but I really kind of wanted to pull it all together and have a fairly subdued look with the bright, because the energy effects on this thing are just gorgeous. Like, I mean, if you look at it, the tracing around the breasticle area and the chesticle area, it's gorgeous, like on her fingers, on her hands. I think it's absolutely amazing, and I love it up into the pointy helmed part. I think it looks great, so I wanted to kind of make the most use of it. Now, moving along, we're actually going to jump into the Ignition skin. This one, I just basically thought, it looks like fire and rock and rubble. I wanted to create something that looked magmatic, if that's a way to talk about it, magmatic. I'm actually a little bit torn about this color. Wait, I didn't show the previous colors. Oops, I moved on too quick. But yeah, so lithium is pretty gray. It's just got like some tones in it that are a little bit metallic and like silvery, but I did want to offset it with a little bit of warmth. That's why you see us jumping into the Grenier palette here. This gray is a nice kind of like warm gray, which I really like. And then I was looking for something, there wasn't an exact color that I wanted to, that I pulled from specifically. I had to get as close as I could, and I felt like that was a nice copper without going too deep or too dark or too red or too pink. And I really like that one a lot. And of course, the star of the show is the big old pink color, which I pulled from the Valentine palette. Now let's get into this one, Magmatic. Now the first color that I wanted to kind of show is this one. I'm a little bit torn about. I like the different levels. I kind of almost want to go a little bit darker. So within this palette, I was actually started out here and I was like, maybe it's too dark. Maybe I'll just, here, there you go. I've changed my mind. And this is why I constantly am like messing around with these colors, and why I like wanted to at least have a day to kind of play around to show them to you, because I changed my mind. I have the prerogative to change my mind. So what I really wanted to kind of create is this rocky kind of rubble inspiration from this, because I felt like that was wrong. Wait, what is this? Did I do that? Yeah, I did that one. And then we've got this one here. It's kind of like browny and dirty and gravelly. And then of course, because you know, we gotta have a little flash in there, we also have a little bit of rose gold and the standard Ember fire. Now, the last one that I want to go ahead and jump into this one over here. Now this color I was actually really fond of. The big thing that I wanted to do with this is I was really looking into, again, I was looking into different colors of fire and all of that kind of stuff and what naturally occurs. And I just couldn't decide. So I wanted to come up with something soft that I could really easily manipulate. And if you look at this is one of my favorite looks. And I know that I'm like jumping all over the place, but literally you could pair this look up with so many different colors and it would work fine. And that's kind of like, I want to stress that's the power of like muted tones. You can get away with a lot more when you have muted tones, as opposed to if everything was super vibrant on the screen, everything would just be a little too much. But when you have muted tones, you can really dig into a lot of different things and be okay for the most part. I mean, this is the Infested palette. Like, you're asking a lot of me to make the Infested palette work. But if you looked at all of the other tones that were kind of like available out there, we can jump into like the Pastels palette. Gamma palette works. But yeah, you can see that this look works with a lot of different shades, and I'm a big fan of that, and that's kind of like what I ended up coming to. I like that kind of like soft orangey thing, but we already got a orangey Ember, so let's go ahead and jump into the colors. This is like my favorite off-white right now. It's like slightly pinky. I know I sound nuts when I talk about off-whites, but I'm like, ooh, it's like this soft pink. But again, a lot of these things can be found in the Storm palette. The Storm palette is probably, it's just hands down like one of my best go-tos. And then of course Classic, which you could also use the Gamma palette. And I really like this. Now clearly I am not using this on the Ember Prime model. The Ember Prime model would have the little shoulder pieces that come up. But really pretty rose metallic right there. It's like the fake rose gold that, you know, everybody wants to call rose gold. And this last one here is in the Twilight palette. It's nice soft green. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna jump into the first look that we did with Ember, and then we're gonna go into the first look that we did with the Ignition skin. So the first Magesty and the first Ignition. So let's jump into the gameplay. All right, so I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I kind of have to say that after I put out that dragon challenge, I thought to myself, I was like, you know, it'd be even better than a motherfucking dragon challenge. Is if we did a fucking goddamn Mother of Dragons challenge. Oh my god. I thought to myself, as I kind of like got into the mission, I was like looking at her and I was like, she's got like this cool, like royally cape. I was like, how fucking appropriate would it be to just make a Daenerys, make a fucking Daenerys Warframe, right? The Mother of Dragons Daenerys Warframe. I would be totally up for that. If anybody wants to do that as a challenge, because, I don't know. I can't wait for the next season of Game of Thrones. And this kind of just reminded me of her. Which is the cool thing with the skin, because, you know, a lot of people can look at it, you know, Ember's like this space chicken, but this legitimately transformed her theme into the, like, look at her. She's all just epic looking, like Mother of Dragon status. And I absolutely love it. And that's the cool thing, is because there's sometimes people have specific perceptions of certain frames. I cannot get out. If somebody could unlock this door, that would be fantastic. Whoop! Got it. Cool. Now, am I trapped forever? Am I never gonna be able to get out? What's going on? What is going on here? Because legitimately I feel trapped. But no, it can really change the perception of certain frames. Because I think, who was I talking? I just punched a guy. What ended up happening was I was actually looking over the comments in the previous video, and one of my regular commenters, Glita, I see you, boo. Basically, he had said that he hated playing Avara because Avara was so goddamn ugly, and I'm not gonna say that I thought that she. How do I put this? I don't want to say that she's ugly, because I didn't think that she was ugly, but I do understand that she has a very different look to her. Oh shit, we got Stalker. Alright, we're gonna chill out. We're gonna chill out right here. Stalker. With the J, because I can't be bothered to spell his name right. But yeah, no, it's kind of like they were not fond of Avara at all, and you know, I can't blame them for that, right? Can't blame them for that whatsoever, because you know, I can see where some people would not be the fondest of her model, but the 2 new skins that came out for her kind of like gave them a new vision of what Avara is, and that's kind of like what's happening with Ember right now for me. Is I'm like, damn girl, you look good. You look good as Miss Dragon Queen. However, I do think we kind of covered all of the things that I wanted to cover with this skin, other than the fact that you know, I think I would love to see her like, ooh, maybe I should, no, because then it takes away from the regality. I was gonna say if I should put like the Pirate Prime Sign Dawn on her and have her dive bomb and be a literal dragon, but let's face it, Ember's already pretty much the fire. Look at that. Oh my god, so freaking epic. Oh, I love it. She looks so good. Cheshire, Pro Citizen, you guys did fan-flippin-tastic. Fantastic. Ooh, Oberon with red, like orangey, fiery energy. I think I might be into that. I might just be into that. I saw you with that smite, boo. Coming through with that smite, with that fiery smite. I might have to, Oberon Prime. Oberon Prime might be coming in with the heat now that I think about it. Let's see. We're gonna see if I can make that work into a theme for him, because I was liking that effect a whole lot. Why are you looking at me like that? You like what you see? Oh, do you look at the flip? Did you see the cape flip on that? Shit! Did you see the cape flip on that? It was too fucking good. Cake flip. Alright, so clearly this variation of the skin I like. It's a little bit more boyish, I want to say. And I've almost kind of like viewed Ember as a little bit of a tomboy anyway. The other one was super like regal and super majestic. Not that, you know, being a fucking dragon queen isn't like powerful, but this one I always felt is a little bit more tomboyish, which I quite like, because that's kind of the way that I'd perceived her before. But yeah, the thing about that is that it's very like Equinox-like, you know, like one can be a little bit more feminine with the kind of dragon queen theme, and this version can actually be a little bit more I want to say masculine. I feel like the shoulders make her look a little bit more masculine. You know, am I crazy? Am I nuts? But it kind of also pairs well with the SANDR, and that's kind of like one of the things to always keep in mind when you're pairing your accessories with your Warframe. Is one thing that I always kind of like take a look at, is what silhouettes does your SANDR or does your armor set give the Warframe. And I felt like this one really went with this variant of the skin, which is the Ignition skin. I liked it a little bit better because I feel like it was a little bit lighter. It's a little bit faster. It's a little bit less. How do I say this? It feels a little less ornate. It feels a little less ornate, a little bit closer to the body, kind of more agile and athletic, which I like, and I feel like it fits. And I feel like it's also kind of interesting how accessories will also change your perception of the way that a frame looks, especially with armor sets. And I can't, like, I'm crossing my fingers that one day DE lets us do an armor set, because I would love to create. I would love to create an armor set one day, like an Officium armor set with little kind of like swirling circular script. I think that would be super duper cool. But yeah. No, I'm really liking this one a lot, especially like look at it compared to in this backdrop. It looks very like organic, but it's not organic in like the weird, gross, infested way either. It's like organic in this kind of like soft, because it's got like those soft swirls on it that really make it kind of look organic and pretty and nice and soft. It's like what do you call this? It's like I called it like earlier. I felt like it was like the soft serve frame. It's like soft serve ice cream, but with like rocks. I know that's maybe like not the best way to kind of like pitch a frame's aesthetic, but that's kind of like how I feel about it. And it's not like, it's weird because it's got like, you know, the helmet's got like a weird, I'm not gonna say it's asymmetrical, but it's I don't know, but I think it does absolute wonders to this frame, and I think it's a really unique skin that I don't feel I've seen before. I don't know why I went up with like a question in that, because it's definitely not a skin that I've seen before. Now, one thing I definitely want to add that I really like about the skin, and it's like just a little detail, because of the fact that she's so like roughed up and very organic looking. I love the way that she looks when she bullet jumps. Like, it looks literally like magma coming off of her feet. Like, oh, let's look at that. Oh my god, it looks so good. And it matches so well with the texture that they've got in there. It's absolutely insane. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. Oh, let's do one of these. Let's do one of these. Oh, so epic. Ember looks so cool. I love it. Ah. Now, one thing that I did want to talk about real quick before I kind of close everything out is that animations do kind of make a big deal. They definitely affected kind of like the way that I perceive Ember, because if you kind of look through these things, I really like the Nyx skin. She very much leans in. I also like the Saren set because she's very like, I don't know, she's like very strong in her position. I like Nyx a little bit more because I do feel like it's a little more delicate, but it's still a little bit more like, I'm coming to get you. And I think that that really kind of helps define the way that you almost look at the way a frame is perceived as well. That's why I like the Nyx one for a lot of frames, because it's a very leaned in one, as opposed to some of the other frames which are very kind of like stoic and like laid out. The Nidus always makes everybody look badass and angry, except for the fact that the shape on Ember's head right now kind of doesn't necessarily go the greatest with it. Octavia's Noble is definitely a fun one for me. It's like a casual one, and one of my old go-tos is just relaxed and chilled out. It's Zephyr. Zephyr's Noble is just like, hey, as opposed to Nyx's like, hey. It's like Zephyr's like, hey, I'm just chilled out. And that's kind of like the way that I see it. Oh my god, I just thought in my head, hold on. Let's do a little bit of this. Let's, as much as that looks cool, if she's the mother of dragons, like, maybe she should fly. Oh, shit! Alright, so that's something that I'm putting out into the universe. Definitely check that out. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you real quick with the build that I used today. It's just the typical Firequake build, if I can actually get to it. So nothing too crazy, just the standard. But yeah, so that pretty much does it for this episode. Let me know what you guys want to see. I might end up doing the Limbo one next, because we're still waiting on a patch for the Avara ones to come out. We'll see what happens. So I don't know, I guess just stay tuned and let me know what you guys think about the Ember customizations. Let me know if you guys want to try to try to turn her into Daenerys. I'm dying. So that is my cue to get the fuck out of here. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. And don't die choking on whatever that was. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.